I was invited to stay the night over at my friend Jeremy's house when I was a little boy. I remember the anticipation I had building up inside me all day, because he had just gotten the new Super Mario Bros. And though I knew there would be other kids there besides me, I would at least get one turn playing. We were not too big into television at my house, and my parents were never the type to allow video games. So events like this, they were always something to look forward to. Unfortunately, this would be the last time I ever stayed at anyone else's house. The night started off pretty normal. We sat around in his basement and watched a movie with his older brother, Chris. Chris was a decent enough guy. He was 14 at the time, and we all thought he was pretty cool, even though he did pick on Jeremy quite a bit. We ate a lot of junk food, and Jeremy's mom made a big dinner for everyone. And as the night came to a close, we grabbed the Super NES from the closet, plugged it in, and started up on Mario. We each got a few turns, and it was just as wonderful as I had hoped. Around 10 p.m., Jeremy's mom yelled down that it was time for us all to go to bed. We all yelled back in unison, "Okay," and turned off the game system. Making my way to my designated sleeping bag, something felt kind of off. I remember looking around the room and thinking that it was strange that Chris had decided to go back upstairs, even though he was allowed to stay up later and take the Nintendo to his room if he wanted. I shrugged it off and laid my head down for the evening. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, I was awoken by a loud thud coming from across the room. I didn't bother pulling my head from my sleeping bag, thinking it was most likely just one of the boys getting up to use the bathroom or something. I closed my eyes, but within seconds, the bump returned, this time closer to my back. "Jeremy," I whispered, trying to keep a hushed tone. "Jeremy, is that you?" The thud came again, closer. "Jeremy," I called a little louder. Thud. "Jeremy," I said at a regular volume, still not wanting to wake everyone up, but still to let whoever was awake know that I was up and they were bothering me. Thud. Right next to me, then again slightly farther away. Over towards the closet. Again. The closet door opened quietly, then shut. "Jeremy, stop!" I shouted at him, now waking everyone else in the room. Jeremy hitting the light switch by the stairs, when the bulb from the top of the staircase dimly lit the room. Everyone was still in their sleeping bags, rubbing their eyes and wondering what was going on. "What's wrong?" Jeremy asked me. "Why are you yelling?" He spoke through his balled fist that covered his yawn. Do you need me to get my mom?" Before I could answer his question, Jeremy's mother came running through the basement door, wrapping a robe around herself, wondering why we were all awake. I tried to explain to them that there was a loud thud next to my sleeping bag, and that it was making noises all across the room. But they didn't want to hear it. Jeremy's mother said that it must have been my imagination, but I pleaded with her to check the room. She refused, telling me that it was going to be alright. I mentioned that the closet door had opened, and she said that she had better not find any of us boys going into the closet this late at night. That it was time for bed and not for playing. We all laid back down and went to sleep. Except me, of course, who stayed up staring into the darkness, waiting to hear more noises that never came. The next morning, we all awoke to a very strange smell. It was a sweet smell, but not like a bakery or anything pleasant like that. It was a pungent trait that made you squint your eyes as you caught a wind of it. We all looked around the room, thinking that maybe someone had soiled the bed, but at that age, we were all beyond that stage. We ran up the stairs for breakfast, laughing and accusing each other of passing gas, shoving one another up the staircase, and leaving our mess of sleeping bags and blankets to cover the floor of the basement. Jeremy's mother went down to straighten up a bit, and we heard her scream. She ran back up the stairs, telling us to go outside and wait on the sidewalk, which we did, while she grabbed for the phone. I remember that was the first time I had actually seen an adult cry outside of the movies, and it scared the hell out of me. Jeremy didn't come to school for about a week after that. When he returned, we all asked what happened, what was going on, since the police had visited each of us, asking us questions about that night. They were particularly interested in the bumping and thudding noises that I had heard. He didn't tell us for almost a month, but eventually it got out from one of the other boys' parents that they had found Chris's body in the closet, mutilated into a pulpy mess, a trail of dark body fluid streaking right past my sleeping bag. To make matters worse, who or whatever did this had scratched into the wall. We didn't like him. Jeremy and his family finally moved away after that. We didn't talk for years. I finally caught up with him briefly online, via Facebook. He told me that he was doing well and his parents had finally, as far as he knew, recovered from the incident. He apologized for that night, which was something I never expected him to do, nor did I find it necessary. I felt terrible for him. After a few minutes of talking, I signed off, and that was that. We didn't talk again. That was about 2 years ago. But I think I might need to give him a call. As I unloaded my boxes of clothes into the closet of my new apartment, I saw that there were scratches on the inside wall. They said, "We didn't like him. We liked you better."